Hey guys, I want to wrap this section up in digital illustration just by showing you a little bit of my workflow. I want to start this one off by saying I am not a digital illustrator by trade. I like to play around with it. I do this more kind of for fun, just to really kind of go in and be creative. I do more photography based editing and whatnot, but whenever I am sitting around and I want to draw or anything, I do just about all of my sketching, all of my thumbnailing for any project that I'm working on. I do it in Photoshop. So I want to show you two things in this demo. I want to show you how I thumbnail, and then I also want to show you how I get ideas and whatnot when I am just kind of playing around with some digital illustration. When I am sketching thumbnails, whatever it may be, I always sketch my ideas out in Photoshop. It's easy to control, it's easy to keep up with, it's easy to manipulate, and the workflow that I follow is I always sketch on a blank layer. That allows me to do a couple of different things, and I'll go in and really just start sketching my ideas out, whatever it may be. I can come in here, I can do whatever I want to do with it. If I got something that I'm working on, and I can just start sketching all different types of ideas out. And this is how I thumbnail. Now, a couple of shortcut keys that we talked about in a couple of other videos, how you can scale your brush and whatnot. Those are really good to use when you're working, when you're sketching really quickly. Another one that I like to use is if you're working and you hold down the R key on your keyboard, you can click and drag and rotate your canvas. Now, if you're working with a mouse, you want to let go of your mouse button first. If you're working with a graphics tablet, you want to pick your stylus up first before you let go of the R key. That's going to take you right back to your brush tool, and it's going to allow you to continue drawing. Now, if I let go of the R first and then pick it up, it's going to leave it on the canvas rotate tool. And then I'm going to be forced to go back and press my B key to get me back to my brush tool. So the way that you release those is important. The way that I straighten my canvas back out is to just hold down R. I can go up here to reset view. That's going to reset my view back. Another cool thing that you can do when you're sketching out thumbnails is you can make selections, and this is one reason that I really like to draw on a blank layer. You can make selections of this, and then by going up to Edit, Free Transform, or Command T, you can go in and without having to erase or redraw, you can go in and manipulate that selection. You can scale that selection, make it larger, smaller, whatever it is that you want to do. Press return, deselect it, Command D, and then you can just keep going. A couple of modifier keys to keep in mind. Your command key, if you're working on a Mac, is the modifier key for your move tool. That'll allow you to move elements around on your page. Your option key is the shortcut key for your eyedropper tool, and when you let go of these keys, it goes back to your brush tool. So this is kind of my workflow when I'm working. When I'm working on a digital illustration, again, just for fun, I approach it pretty much the same way as I approach a composite. I go out and I find some images that I like, and let's say I like this image right here. I'm not using this for composite, okay? I'm just using this as an idea. So I can go in and I can download any of these. I could click and drag these into Photoshop, move them around. Again, I'm not using it for composite, so these images don't have to be that high of a resolution. And I can scale these up, and I can start to build a real quick structure. So let's just say I like that valley. Let's say I really like these mountains right here. Just gonna click that, drag that in. Say those will look kind of cool, maybe over here in the background. Let's say down in here I want that to open up to a lake or something, and again, I'm just going in, I've been pixels, let's just say a lake. I kind of like this one as a whole. I'm going to drag that in here. Maybe this is going to open up right here. I'm just pressing Command T. And I really like that house, so I'm just going to copy that over here. And then what I'll do is in all of these layers, just real quick, I'm going to go in with my eraser tool. Now your eraser tool works off the same type of brush tips as your brush tool does, but you can just go in. I'm just going to blow it up, and I'm just going to go in and same modifier keys. I can move this around, and I'm just going to kind of erase some things. And what this is going to allow me to do is this is going to get me just kind of a quick overview of the structure that I want this to be. So let's say I want this house to be somewhere around that little valley right there. We'll move this over a little bit. Go grab my eraser again. Erase that out. And this is just going to give me just a few options. And again, this is real quick. So I definitely would take my time on this as I'm working. And then let's say this last one over here. I don't want any of this. And then I'd maybe drag another image over here or whatnot. But this will get me close enough. Once I'm happy with the layout itself, I select all my layers, hit Command E, that merges them all together, and turn it black and white or anything like that, or either drop its opacity. And I'll use this as a template for my sketch. Create a new layer, go in, grab my brush tool. I can go in now and I've got something that I can work with. This gives me an idea of my layout. This gives me an idea of my structure. And then I can just go in really and use this as a way to set up my sketch. So this is going to open up into a lake. These are going to be some mountains over here. And I'm really just kind of working through this. And then once I have my sketch, I may drop its opacity and then go in and put a little more detail into it. This is just kind of going to get me part of the way there. But that's just really a quick workflow of how you can use the things that we've talked about in compositing and the things that we've talked about with masking and selections and whatnot. And you can use all these different images to composite together just a quick layout, and then use that as a template to go in and sketch it out. And then you go in and add color and whatnot. That's a little beyond where we're gonna be. I like to follow a couple of illustrators on YouTube, and I'll send out an email and I'll talk to you a little bit about those in class if you want to dig in a little bit more in this area of design.